Sushi. Sushi did not originate as a delicacy. It originated as a preservation method. Fish was packed in fermented rice for months until the fish was ready to eat. The rice was discarded. This process took up to 3 years. A Tokyo chef named Hanaya Yohei shortened the process to minutes in the 1820s by pressing fresh fish onto seasoned rice and serving it immediately. He invented fast food. The California roll, invented in Los Angeles in the 1970s, made sushi accessible to Americans by hiding the seaweed inside and using avocado instead of fatty tuna. Japan received it back as a trend decades later. Jambalaya. Jambalaya originated in Louisiana when Spanish settlers attempted to recreate paella using local ingredients. Saffron was unavailable. Tomatoes replaced it. West African and French Creole influences added okra, andouille sausage, and a spice profile that paella never had. The result was something entirely new that bore almost no resemblance to the dish it started as. Creole jambalaya includes tomatoes. Cajun jambalaya does not. The argument between these two camps in Louisiana carries the same energy as political debates anywhere else. A failed attempt to recreate a Spanish dish accidentally produced one of the most distinctive regional cuisines in America. Mochi. Mochi is pounded glutinous rice formed into a soft, chewy cake that has been eaten in Japan for over 1,000 years. It is prepared traditionally at New Year's celebrations through a process called mochitsuki, where rice is pounded with wooden mallets in a large mortar. The process requires 2 people and precise timing. Ice cream mochi, glutinous rice wrapped around a ball of ice cream, was invented in Los Angeles in the 1990s by Francis Hashimoto of Mikawaya Bakery. A 1,000-year-old Japanese ceremonial food became an American freezer-aisle staple because someone put ice cream inside it. Paella. Paella originated in Valencia, Spain in the 19th century as a farm worker's lunch cooked over open fire in a wide, flat pan. The original contained rabbit, chicken, green beans, and snails. No seafood. The seafood version that became globally famous is a coastal adaptation that Valencians consider a completely different dish. The pan itself is called a paella, meaning the dish is named after its cookware. Paella became Spain's most internationally recognized dish not because Spain exported it, but because tourists ate it on vacation and tried to recreate it at home. Most recreations bear limited resemblance to what Valencia originally cooked over that fire. Poke bowl. Poke is a Hawaiian fisherman's snack that existed for centuries before anyone called it a trend. Raw fish seasoned with soy sauce, sesame oil, and seaweed eaten directly on the boat. The bowl format, poke served over rice with vegetables and sauce, was a local Hawaiian lunch counter staple for decades. Food media discovered it around 2012. By 2016, poke bowl restaurants were opening in every major American city at a rate that suggested the entire country had discovered Hawaii simultaneously. A Hawaiian fisherman's snack became a $2 billion American restaurant category in under 5 years because someone put it in a bowl and called it healthy. Arancini. Arancini are Sicilian fried rice balls filled with ragu, mozzarella, and peas, coated in breadcrumbs and deep-fried until golden. The name means little oranges in Italian, describing their shape and color. They were invented in Sicily in the 10th century during Arab rule as a portable meal that could be carried without refrigeration. Sicilian grandmothers have been making them from leftover risotto for 1,000 years. American Italian restaurants began serving them as appetizers in the 2000s and charged significantly more than any Sicilian grandmother would consider reasonable. A 1,000-year-old leftover solution became a premium restaurant appetizer. Onigiri. Onigiri are Japanese rice balls, triangular or round, filled with pickled plum, salmon, or tuna and wrapped in nori. They have been eaten in Japan since at least the 11th century, appearing in written records as portable food for travelers and soldiers. Japanese convenience stores sell over 600 million onigiri annually. They are the most purchased ready-made food item in Japan. Western food media discovered them around 2020 and declared them a trend. Japan had been buying 600 million of them every year for decades without waiting for the discovery. A 1,000-year-old travel food became a global food trend because TikTok found it. Rice Krispie treats.
Rice Krispie treats were invented in 1939 by Mildred Day, a home economist at the Kellogg Company who combined melted marshmallows and butter with Rice Krispie cereal to create a no-bake dessert bar. The recipe was printed on the cereal box and has remained there ever since. Americans make approximately 1.2 billion Rice Krispie treats annually at home, not counting commercial production. The recipe has 3 ingredients and requires no oven. It has never been improved upon despite decades of attempts. A cereal company home economist invented one of the most replicated American dessert recipes in history and put the instructions on the box for free. Risotto. Risotto requires patience that most cooking does not demand. Arborio rice is added to warm stock 1 ladle at a time, stirred constantly until each addition is absorbed before the next is poured. The process takes 18 minutes minimum and cannot be rushed or left unattended. The starch released through stirring creates the creamy texture without adding cream. Gordon Ramsay famously eliminated contestants on Hell's Kitchen for failing risotto more than any other dish. A northern Italian rice technique that dates to the 16th century became the standard test of whether a professional chef can actually cook under pressure.
Fried rice. Fried rice was invented in China during the Sui dynasty around 600 AD as a way to use leftover cooked rice. Fresh rice is too moist to fry properly. Day-old rice has dried out enough to fry without clumping. Every fried rice recipe in the world begins with this same requirement. The dish traveled with Chinese immigrants across Southeast Asia, the Americas, and Africa, adapting to whatever ingredients existed locally. American Chinese restaurant fried rice uses soy sauce and eggs. Thai fried rice uses fish sauce and basil. Peruvian arroz chaufa uses Chinese technique with Latin ingredients. One leftover solution produced 1,000 regional variations. Stuffed bell pepper. Stuffed peppers appear in almost every cuisine that has access to both peppers and ground meat. The American version, a bell pepper filled with ground beef, rice, and tomato sauce, became a mid-century home cooking staple because it solved the weekly question of how to make ground beef feel like a complete, considered meal. The pepper acts as edible cookware. It holds the filling, adds sweetness as it roasts, and means no extra dish to wash. Home economics teachers across the United States used stuffed peppers as the canonical lesson in how to build a balanced meal in a single vessel. It is still one of the most pinned dinner recipes on every food platform every autumn, reliably without exception. Rice pudding. Rice pudding appears in some form in virtually every food culture that grows rice. China has tangyuan, India has kheer, Britain has baked rice pudding with a skin on top that divides the nation. The American version, white rice simmered in milk with sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon, descended from British colonial cooking and became a standard dessert in American diners and home kitchens through the 19th and 20th centuries. It requires no skill, no special equipment, and almost no attention. Every culture that discovered you could cook rice in milk with sugar arrived at essentially the same conclusion and called it something different. Burrito. The burrito means little donkey in Spanish. One story says a street vendor in northern Mexico wrapped food in a flour tortilla to keep it warm while transporting it on his donkey. The giant foil-wrapped version Americans know today was invented in San Francisco in the 1960s. Chipotle alone sells over 300 million burritos per year. One restaurant chain, one item, 300 million times. The burrito is not Mexican food. It is American food that borrowed a Mexican idea and scaled it into a billion-dollar industry. Sushi donut. The sushi donut appeared on Australian food blogs in 2016 as a ring of sushi rice shaped like a donut, topped with sashimi, avocado, and sesame. It is not Japanese. Japanese sushi chefs have expressed a range of reactions from confusion to visible distress. The format was designed entirely for Instagram. The ring shape photographs from above in a way that traditional sushi does not. It spread from Melbourne cafes to food markets in London, New York, and Los Angeles within 18 months, purely through social media. It tastes like sushi. It looks like nothing sushi has ever looked like. The comments section on every sushi donut post contains a debate that has never been resolved and generates engagement every single time. Dolmades. Dolmades are grape leaves stuffed with rice, herbs, and sometimes ground meat, then rolled tight and simmered in lemon broth. They originated in the Ottoman Empire and spread across the entire Mediterranean and Middle East.
Greece, Turkey, Lebanon, Armenia, and Iran all claim versions as their own national dish, and all versions are slightly different in ways that matter enormously to the people making them. The grape leaf acts as both wrapper and flavoring, imparting a faint tartness to the rice inside during cooking. A dish that 6 nations claim simultaneously has been causing diplomatic disagreements at Mediterranean dinner tables for several centuries.
Loco Moco. Loco Moco was invented in 1949 at the Lincoln Grill in Hilo, Hawaii, by owner Nancy Nsuka, who was asked by a group of teenagers to make something cheap, filling, and fast that wasn't a sandwich. The result was white rice topped with a hamburger patty, a fried egg, and brown gravy. It cost 25 cents. The teenagers named it Loco Moco on the spot. No one remembers exactly why. The dish became Hawaii's defining comfort food within a generation. It is now served in every diner, hotel, and convenience store across the islands. A group of hungry teenagers with 25 cents accidentally designed the official breakfast of an entire state.